Kafka's a familiar face at this point in the story. She was the first person the Trailblazers set eyes on, and meaning Kafka must have been there for the Trailblazers' first words. The first step. No wonder so many players count her.
Hi Muglets, so I just got done watching the special program, want to throw my thoughts out there. It got super exciting at the end, so make sure to stick around. But yeah, Honkai Star Rail version 1.2 is upon us. They start with this trailer as usual, and as usual, it's a really nice trailer. They introduced the new 5 stars we'll be seeing, Kafka, which we've seen a decent amount of during the story, and a character we haven't seen much, Blade. There will be a third new character as well, Luka, a 4-star, but we'll get into all that in a minute. As usual, redemption codes will be pinned in the comments below if you want to go grab yourself some free Stellar Jades. But yeah, this is a relatively massive update. Feels like it's been forever, but we will be getting some new story quests, which is really cool. We got some sneak peeks at some of the new areas coming as well. But yeah, jumping straight into the new characters, we have Blade, another male character, which is honestly pretty refreshing. I like the male to female ratio of characters that they have going on in Star Rail. A lot of the males do follow a pretty similar-ish design. Long hair, sharp eyes, appears to be in his early to mid-20s. I mean, appearance-wise, I guess a little bit of Blade lore is that he is actually immortal. He is also a member of the Stellaron Hunters, much like Kafka, so they are kind of companions in a way. Actually, it's coming back to me, it was a while ago, but we did see a little bit of him during the story. Dan was having nightmares about him, but essentially he joined the Stellaron Hunters because one of the people promised him that they will kill him, but apparently he really wants to die because he's immortal and he doesn't want to be. So that's fun. But yeah, as far as like combat mechanics and kit and everything, he reminds me a lot of Hu Tao from Genshin. He is a wind/destruction character. He consumes his own HP to get a damage buff, as well as turning his single target attack into an AoE attack. The amount of HP he loses does seem pretty significant. You can't actually die from this, but you can go down to 1 HP, very much like Hu Tao. And every time his HP goes lower, either by himself or an enemy, he'll gain a stack out of 5, as you can see down there. Once you have 5 out of 5, he'll do a follow-up attack. This follow-up attack is AoE and he will recover some HP from this. And finally, his ultimate is a single target, which is weird for destruction, but adjacent enemies do take damage as well. And the damage of his ultimate goes up the lower amount of HP he has. And regardless of how much HP you have at the time of doing ultimate, he will recover HP to exactly half of his max HP. So like very, very similar to Hu Tao. It's crazy. His out of battle technique is pretty basic. He'll consume some HP to deal wind damage upon entering battle. And now, of course, for everyone's favorite sociopathic mommy, we have Kafka. So a tiny bit of Kafka lore. She was born on Terrius 5. And the inhabitants of this planet apparently do not have the ability to feel fear. Now, calling her a sociopath or a psychopath or whatever is a pretty broad term, but fun fact, here on Earth, there is a real disease that causes this. It's incredibly rare, only about 400 people total have ever been recorded with this, called the Erbach-Witte disease. Probably butchered, but pretty interesting nonetheless. But yeah, moving on to her kit and mechanics, she is a lightning nihility character. Feels like my team is pretty much mono lightning at this point, but we'll see if I could fit Kafka in somewhere. She does some damage over time stuff, what we're just going to be calling dot from now on. If the enemy already has dot on them when she does the skill, they'll receive an extra dot, double dot damage. Kafka also does follow-up attacks whenever any of her allies do basics. They don't touch on this at all really, but seems pretty simple, I guess. I do love follow-up attacks. My main characters are Clara and Jingyuan. Her ultimate is AoE and can apply shock, which as far as I remember is just another dot. And if the enemies already have dot, you'll do extra damage, blah, blah, blah. Pretty similar to her skill, actually. Her out of battle technique is pretty interesting. It's like an AoE attack around a radius, so you potentially could attack multiple enemies. But yeah, quick thoughts on the 5 stars. Honestly, I'm looking forward to Blade a little bit more than Kafka. I know Kafka is really popular for possibly other reasons besides her kit. I don't know. I just never cared about dot that much. I don't use dot at all in my team. I guess Clara's weakness, break, bleed counts as dot, but so I don't know. I mean, of course I'm gonna get her, but I'd probably need to build a team around her. Blade, on the other hand, just seems kind of interesting, like Hu Tao. I'm not sure how well a Hu Tao-like character would work in a turn-based game though, but we'll see. But usually when there is a cost to a buff, like his own HP in this case, it'll usually mean it's pretty good. Also, I guess the fact you can kind of force trigger Lacha's passive with that, which might be counterintuitive because you want him to be at low health for his ultimate at least. But I mean, that'd be pretty interesting. I'm kind of just thinking about, you know, combinations with the units I've raced personally. And finally, we have Luka. Just kind of some random dude with a mech arm, to be honest. He's apparently part of the underground mole team, you know, with Hook and those kids. Well, apparently he's an operations consultant for the moles, but mainly he's just the champion of the underground fight club. He's a 4-star physical nihility character. After doing enough basic attacks, he can do an enhanced basic attack. His skill is single target punches, can bleed, which is typical for a physical unit. He has these stacks of fighting will down there, and this is when his basic attack gets enhanced, called Sky Shatter Fist. Hits 4 times, the last hit is enhanced if the enemy currently has bleed on them, which he can do with his skill. One interesting thing I missed while first watching this, because they went through his talents really fast, his ultimate is a single target attack. After doing ultimate, he will get some of these stacks of fighting will, but also what I missed was there's a chance for the enemy to receive extra damage for a certain number of turns. So in a way, he could potentially be a sort of debuffer as well. And with his out of battle technique, he'll start the battle with what seems to be 2 out of 4 fighting will stacks. So those are all the new characters, quite a lot to get through. As always, with new characters comes new signature lycones. We have one for Blade and Kafka. I checked the Star Rail website and they haven't updated yet what these lycones actually do, but I always have some thoughts on Summon Day, so I'll go over them then. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Blade's probably is going to be pretty important for him, but I'm not sure yet. And as for the upcoming banners, we have Blade starting us off first. I'm not super interested in any of the 4-stars, to be honest. Maybe I want to get one more Shushing down there for E6, but I already have Lacha and Bailu now, so I don't really care about more Natasha Khans, but overall seems like a decent banner. And then of course Kafka here. As for the 4-stars, we do have the other new character Luka here. I do obviously want to take a closer look at him when he's in game. The other two I don't care too much about, to be perfectly honest. And with the continuation of the story, we will be getting some new maps as well. Very exciting, you know, more chests to farm, new puzzles. The area looks really pretty. I'm loving those orange trees. We will of course have some new enemies as well. This giant ape looking thing, this woman, and Yin Cheng for some reason. Guess we'll see what's up with that later. We also will have a new weekly boss. I had a quick little live reaction when I first saw this. Going to just play that now. What? Like other weekly bosses, she has some little object companions there, which aid the boss in battle, but I don't want to go too deeply into her mechanics. More importantly, she will drop stuff necessary for these new characters. So if you are going for the new characters, make sure to save these 3 entries on the week of the update. Plan ahead a little bit. We'll also have a new Stagnant Shadow for Blades materials. Now we're talking about the new events. There's one I'm particularly excited about, but we're starting with Tales of the Fantastic, which looks interesting to say the least. From what little info they gave, it seems to be partly story event, but you're also playing as a bird, and there's also combat involved. The one I'm really looking forward to is called Underground Treasure Hunt. I kind of thought it'd be something like you just go around and look for treasure, but we have this like board here with squares, and you're uncovering these squares and getting little buffs and stuff, but there's also like you could uncover a square that is a battle, and stuff like this really tickles me. I like it a lot. There's also a reward from this event. We have a new little bunny chat box, which is kind of cool, I guess. And the final event is called Where Are You, Mr. Trotter? In a nutshell, you get a sensor. This sensor detects trotters, and you defeat the trotters for stellar jades. Sounds simple? Sounds good. Who doesn't like stellar jades? And now on to the more exciting stuff, at least for me personally. We're getting some updates to some different content. First of all, Forgotten Hall, we will get a free Yukong after passing stage 1. My Yukong is E1. I eventually want to get her to E6. And that helps. My jaw dropped when I heard this next one. Simulated Universe update. I love Sim Universe. But yeah, we're just gonna straight up be getting World 7. And because of that, we're gonna be having 2 new 2-piece relic sets. I haven't even read these yet because they flashed by it pretty quick, but I wanna do so now and talk about them. So this first one, Rutilant Arena, increased wearer's crit rate, probably by 8% like the other one does. When the wearer's crit rate is equal to or greater than a certain percentage, probably 50, the wearer's basic attack and skill damage increase. I don't know about that, so they don't give actual percentages for some sad reason, but based on the other artifact sets, we can pretty much guess who does most of their damage with basic and skill. I mean, like Sela does a lot of damage with her basic and skill, but it's still her ultimate that is the most. So I assume it probably would be good for one of the new characters, but again, details on those are still pretty light. But yeah, we also have Broken Kneel, increases the wearer's effect res. When the wearer's effect res is equal to or greater than a certain percentage, all allies' crit damage increases. The crit damage, I'm assuming, is probably gonna be like 16% for, wait, no, but it's everyone. So I don't even know, maybe like 10% for everyone crit damage. But I mean, effect res is really important for a lot of supports to ensure they don't get frozen or can't do their supporty things. Like I was doing some content the other day and I was using Gepard and he was just frozen constantly and couldn't provide any shields. And I was just thinking, God, I need to build him with more effect res. But something like this would actually be crazy because it gives your support effect res and everyone else gets crit damage. So Broken Kneel sounds actually really, really nice for supports. Rutilant Arena, I'm not sure at the moment. I'm sure there are characters that maybe even I use that could use this well, but it's just not coming to my head right now. We will also have a Sim Universe event, similar to one we had very recently, where we'll get double drops for I guess the first 2 or 3 runs like it was last time, which is really cool, especially when we have new relics to farm. In addition to new 2-piece sets, we'll also get new 4-piece sets in Cavern of Corrosion. I didn't read these either. We have Longevous Disciple and Messenger Traversing Hackerspace. Okay, that must be like Silverwolf exclusive set right there. But let's start with Longevous Disciple. Increases max HP. When the wearer is hit or their HP is consumed by an ally, including themselves, their crit rate increases for a certain number of turns. This effect is stackable. This must be pretty much a blade signature set. I mean, everyone can proc this, you know, when they get hit by an enemy, but as far as I'm aware, he's the only one that can consume his own HP. I'm not familiar with all the characters yet, but yeah, very interesting. I wonder if something scales with max HP. I know his like ultimate does more damage based on how much HP he has, but that's like the lower the better. So I don't know. And then we also have this one. Increases speed. Yeah, Silverwolf does like to be fast. When the wearer uses their ultimate on any ally, including on themselves, speed for all allies increases for a certain number of turns. Silverwolf cannot use her ultimate on any ally. So I guess I was just assuming that because of the name, but yeah, that's definitely not a Silverwolf set. Out of the units I use, that can be used on buffers like Ting Yun. It could also be used for healers, but not Lodshaw. But yeah, it would be definitely decent for those types of characters. Probably not Gepard because I think he wants that shield set. But yeah, overall seems like a pretty versatile set. Speed is very important, of course. It says a certain number of turns, so I'm hoping at least 2 turns, maybe like 10, 15 speed. Unfortunately, it does not go into specifics, so I can't say much more than that. If it's even percent or flat based, who knows? I would honestly hope it's flat based because that just makes things easier. But yeah, always, always, always happy to see new relic sets. And then we'll have Realm of the Strange, which is essentially the same thing as the Sim Universe one, but for Cavern of Corrosion. So double Cavern of Corrosions for 2 or 3 runs. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, again, very cool when you have new relics to farm. And finally, we'll be having some new companion missions, Letter from a Strange Woman, and For I Have Touched the Sky. And finally, login event, we get 10 special summons. And yeah, that was it for the version 1.2 special program for Honkai Star Rail. Honestly, super hyped for this one. Some of the events look really interesting. The new characters look exciting. The new relics, the new areas, the new puzzles and enemies. It's like massive update, honestly. Make sure to tell me what you think though in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time.